What's up, everybody? Coming into you live and direct. Hopefully, I'm sounding nice and clear. We revamped the studio. The Smokin Word podcast is always brought to you by CasaDeRock.com. Go cop that merch. Patreon.com/The Smokin Word if you want to support there. We have a lot of videos we just dropped. And listen, I'm excited to announce we are officially dropping a weekly show on Patreon called The Hard Corner with me and my brother Busky, where basically we're going to give the 411 on what's going on weekly, new music, new shows, and all that good stuff. So join the Patreon and get down with the get down. We're taking this culture to where it belongs, to the next level. But make sure you tune in to the patreon.com/The Smokin Word. And again, shout out to everybody who's been tuning in around the planet. We got a lot of things planned. I'm really amped to announce a lot of new things coming. This is Hardcore's up next. Last week, the Black and Blue just passed. As you may see online, there's a lot of pictures going on. I figured let's do some recapping. So I figured who better than to get my brother, Albany's finest, or should I say Troy's finest, my brother from Brick by Brick, Mike Valente. Let's set this shit off.
Welcome to the Smokin Word.
Yo, we're doing shit Big Willie now, Valente. I got faders, I got headphones, I got all types of shit going on.
Look at you.
What's going on, brother?
Oh my God, what a crazy freaking day. Rushing around trying to get to this thing. It's like I was supposed to be out of work at 6, and nothing ever goes easy for me. But you know how that goes.
I'm glad to get you on because I know how it goes with work and everything. And I've been wanting to get you on for a minute, you know that. But I was like, you know what? I kind of wanted to do a recap. And I said, who I'm gonna get? The same people I already had. I was like, yo, let me bring you in and we could follow up because you're doing a lot of stuff that we'll get into with the booking and the new shows and the record, all that. So I figured, fuck, let's start with the recap from you and work our way up. No, because I said, obviously for everybody knows now, I didn't get to make it. Everything is okay. I just had to take care of some shit at home, but everything was copacetic. Brendan held it down, but there was a lot of pictures going on. It looked great. It looked like, the usual.
We needed that. I wish you were there, but
yeah. So tell me, let's just start off. Were you there for the Friday, the Saturday? Like, when did you make when did you start your pillage? Because some of us don't make the full pillage always,
I rolled in Saturday morning, so I was there before doors and helping cuz out and getting my feet wet there, and the alcohol started flowing a little early that day, but that's all right.
Oh my God, it's always that, right? I don't know how the hell we make it to a show at night. Like, I literally do not know how people do that shit. Like,
figure it out,
yeah, you figure it out. And fucking so all right, so yeah, because I heard so there was something Friday though. They did something Friday, right?
I think they were just doing like getting food and just acting like animals in the bars, and I guess there was a couple of like dance parties and raves and shows.
Okay, but none of the show. Oh yeah, so the first official show besides the Black and Blue was oh no, you know what it is? You know what's fucking me up? I'm getting this confused with the park show where there was a pre-show, an after party. I wasn't at that one either. So I'm fucking lost in the mix over here. I'm trying to catch up. I'm recapping.
Everything's got a pre-party, after party, whatever.
Yeah. So
Tech usually does the day before.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he does. And that's another thing. I want to get him on because he just finished their tour. Right now, the Sick of It All Agnostic front tour, that looked really good too. So that was cool. So a lot of stuff going on, which I'm glad, you know what I mean? And let me ask you, who did you get to see on Saturday? Did you get to see anybody? It's hard to see bands because there's so much going on.
There's so much going on, and it was just there was a lot of faces I haven't seen in so long. So it was more about catching up. I tried to get, you know, I caught a little bit of a threat to society that opened the show. They're hard. They're hard nails. And
Great name.
of course, yeah, of course you had to, you know, see AF and Sick of It All. I mean, you know, just but like I said, it was more of just the hangs that day. Really, it's like, you know, no offense against the bands, but I just wanted to see my bros, you know.
Yeah. You cut out there, but it's good. Oh no, there you go. You back.
Some idiots trying to call on me, of course.
No, that's all right. And I like the Frost skateboards you got in the background right there.
He did those especially for me.
Yeah, those are dope. Those dope. I'm gonna get him on here one day. He did some dope shit. But yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, first of all, when I first saw that bill, the Saturday bill, I was like, Jesus Christ, it should have been one day. Like that alone was like, you know what I mean? Like a super show. Yeah, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? And what time did you make it in the city? You made it in the morning, like at 10 in the morning or something.
9:38. Oh my God, my work keeps calling me. It's like, leave me.
You know why? You're a hot item. They tell them I got that ass right now. That's the difference. And fucking but yeah, no, I was catching all the pictures and trying to catch what's what and fucking who was what and how. Let me ask you this: what's the word on that venue? Because I've never been to the venue. I heard of it, and I know they started to have a lot more shows now.
So Upstate Concert Hall used to be the big venue in our area, and they were a 1,300 cap room, and Teddy Tall was part of it. Kid named Dave Seawart's part of it. You know, it's got a good staff behind it. So they always wanted me to do shows with them, but most of the bands that I book don't want to play a room that big. You know, it's 13 lot to be responsible for. So now this new venue they stumbled across has a 1,000 cap room upstairs, and downstairs is a 350 cap room. Perfect. So as soon as they got the word on that, they hit me up. They're like, "You want to partner up with us on this?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So it's awesome. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just we got the best of both worlds.
Now let me ask you with this new venue. So you said Teddy Tall is involved with this?
There's the main guy is his name is Stan Livingston, and he SLP concerts, and he's got some venues in like Philadelphia, I think, and New Jersey, and Teddy Tall's involved. I'm involved. There's like 3 or 4 different people that are involved with this, and it's just
that's cool shit. Because I saw it. I know you were talking about it, and I know you always had a club up there. So I know for a minute there was no club, and then the way everything was going, it was like, who knows if there's gonna be a club? Because actually, one of the last shows I went up there was a club that I never been to. Was when we went to see, you remember Life of Agony? Who else? Oh, I think we might have played it. I think we actually played it. Yeah.
It was Life of Agony, Madball, I think Stigmata, and Brick by Brick.
Yeah. Where was that? That was some other spot, right?
That was Upstate Concert Hall, and that's no longer. So now we got this new venue.
Oh, that's what it was. You see, it's fucking confusing. Yeah. You know, and good. And for everybody, when I was talking before about Teddy Tall is like, why I bring his name up? If you don't know it, he's a guy who used to be the guy who used to book all the shows up in Albany. He used to do all the early Madball shows, and everybody, I guess, you know, anybody, if you were in this fucking world, you were going through Teddy Tall, you know?
Yeah, he held down the 90s pretty good, you know? I mean, Bob Riley helped him out. I helped him out.
Sure.
But all the kids growing up that, you know, are established now. We all helped Ted, you know, throughout the late 80s, early 90s. So, you know.
So let me ask you, you know the Teddy Tall from the 80s? Was he in the 80s working already?
I think his first show, Brick by Brick. My old band Attica was Ted's first show.
Oh shit!
That was like 92, I think.
Wow. And where, Albany, Troy?
Yeah, we did. It was us, a band called China White, and a band called Plaid, and it was the first Ted show, and it was packed. We packed that place out. It was like 400 kids there. It was awesome. But and then I remember him asking me, he's like, "Hey, what do you think about this band Stigmata? What do you think of this band Flat Broke?" And he's asking, I'm like, "Yeah, get them. And he started with the local stuff, and next thing you know, we got the Mad Balls up there. He had everybody up there.
Oh, we were up at the QE2 every
Yep.
other day. We were up at fucking the other spot also. You remember you were doing shows there too at fucking Bogies.
Bogies and Saratoga Winners was
Saratoga Winners, of course. All those spots, obviously takes up specifically QE2. There was like, classic tours ran through there. Like, I think we went through there with a Downset Doggy Dog or some shit. Like some of these crazy fucking
all sorts of crazy shit.
And what made you? I understand doing it early on. When you come up with a band, and sometimes if motherfuckers ain't putting you on, you got to make it happen. Like we all know, you got to make it happen.
Exactly how I started.
That's what I'm saying. I know how you started. Now, with that being said, with you knowing how that shit works, and the pain in the asses you got to deal with bands and promoters and clubs and all that shit. Because I would never want. Before I used to say I would love to be a promoter, a record a company owner, and then till I found out and I said, I don't want no part of none of that. Because all the shit that comes with it. Like, what makes you still do it after that many years is the question.
Well, majority of the bands that I'm booking are my friends' bands, so I'll book Madball all day. Yeah. I'll book, a lot of the metal bands that come through me. So it's not really that bad. It's when I start dealing with agents that I don't really know and bands that I don't know, that's when it starts getting stressful.
Yeah.
And my work keeps calling me, so I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, work got away. No, but you know what? Why I still say, well, I get it, but it's still, when people look at you, they also may think, oh, this guy is gonna snap at a drop of a dime, but yet they don't know to do what you do. You need a lot of patience, and especially to deal with bands. Because I know I'm in a band, and I also know how dudes in bands are, and there's a lot of bitches in bands. And when I mean by bitches, by little babies and little spoiled brats and bradettes or whatever the fuck the terms are nowadays. But I know you have to deal with it, and to be able to deal with that, I salute you, because it's a hard thing to do. You know what I mean? Because 9 out of 10 times, and I'm in a band, the guys in the band sometimes 8 out of 10 times deserve a smack in the face for some of the fantasy. You know, sometimes they're legit, but then it's like sometimes it's like, all right, dude, relax. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I had a couple of I booked Sepultura. That was not fun.
It didn't work out.
Not fun.
You know what it is that sometimes that you know what, I can't even say that with you, because I was about to say, like, because the metal world is a different world, but that world. Yeah. So that's why I said I can't say that to you. Like,
Warren coached me through that because he knew their tour manager. I called Warren up. I'm like, yo, this guy's not going to be found again.
That's what it is, and it's like even it's crazy because I know that being in a band, what I've dealt with crew members from these big Willie bands, they're not even in the band. And I met rock star techs that were like trying to shit on us. And we're like, motherfucker, like, so I know how fantasies run wild. And to be able to be a promoter, ooh, that's rough sometimes, because sometimes bands, they really fight for what they think they deserve when it's obviously they don't. Sometimes when it comes down to like a draw, and then they're asking for, what's the wildest shit somebody asked you for?
Oh man, I'll give you a story. I booked the Business one time, and they rolled in with a crazy rider, but it was, and you know what? It had so much bizarre stuff on it. But I got everything on it, and pulled me aside, and he goes, "You're the only one that ever did that." So I know. I go, the ridiculous shit you got on this rider.
Yeah,
you're the only one. And he goes, "Oh my god!" He goes, "I gotta make a trophy for you or something."
That's funny. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, so some of the shit that some people ask. I heard a story. My boy told me I won't blow up the band. I won't say who, but I'll just say this band was from Brooklyn and the dude was the singer. But anyway, he made my boy go to almost in Europe to like basically another country for a specific soup that he wanted, or else he wouldn't play. And you know, when my boy finally got the soup hours later, he looked at the soup, put it down, and him take the soup. Oh, I would fucking kill somebody. I would kill somebody. And then, okay, so right before, what was the venue you were booking right before this venue?
Chrome. It was in Waterford, and it was just a venue that basically needed business, and you know, it kind of went hand in hand right there. But I mean, the owner didn't really know how to treat bands or really accommodate them so much, and stuff started laying on my shoulders a lot more than it should have. I mean, I wasn't making the profit, she was, you know.
Yeah.
But we ended up coming to some agreements, and then this came along, and it just made everything better. So I mean, now I have a home, and you know what? I don't have to worry about wins and losses. It's like they take care of me every show I do.
That's great.
So, yeah, it's you know what? It's all about the bottom line for them. And my bottom lines have been really good. I mean, all the stuff I book, the bars do great, the bands do great. And now everything's kind of on an upswing. People are coming out in droves for shows up here, which is awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, it was scary at first because that COVID shit, everybody was, you know, holding back or not coming out. And
I remember like just some events starting. I think it was a boat thing that you were doing. And then some people were getting a little shook because it was still a little bit. I remember, you know, I'm always watching on what's what. And I remember being like, man, it's rough because I know you wanted to get shit going up there. And that's what you do is book shows. So I'm like, you know, and you know the deal. Somebody got to set shit off, you know, and then, and it's rough. And let me ask you this. So like, obviously you started because like a lot of us, nobody else was going to do it for us, but did you start it specifically to play shows with your first band, or was it for your friends' bands?
My first band, I mean, we were kids, and you know, we were a thrash band, and you know, nobody wanted to put us anywhere, and we're just like, oh, you know what? I know we got friends, so let's just book our own show. And you know, we did like a little VFW hall, and then we booked this little crappy place, and then we started going to Saratoga Winters, and you know, we started, you know, doing what we had to do. And next thing I know, it just kind of snowballed. And then there was a period of time where I didn't need to book shows because Ted was around. So Ted would actually give us the attention, and we, you know, we did what we had to do. And then there was a period of time where kind of not that he dipped out, but it was just the scene kind of started getting a little stale, a little, you know, lax, I guess you could say. And that's when I opened up the club in Troy, the Duster. And,
I remember that. I remember when that was going.
And then we started picking things up from there again, with the help of a couple of friends from Troy and all that. And then that got shut down. Then we started with Bogies a couple of years after that. So
I loved Bogies.
Bogies was just fun. And I worked my way into a partnership with that place, and then that was going strong, but then the owner of the building never paid the taxes, so the bank locked the doors on us pretty much. So then that happened, and then it kind of morphed into what we are now. So
yeah, but hold on. So all right, when you're booking, this is with your first band, Atticus, right?
Yeah,
you're booking Attica, not Atticus, right?
Attica,
because I think that's like that was like, where did you get the name from?
Jesus, I thought of that name in high school. I watching that Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, you got it. That's even harder. I didn't even think of that. I thought of when I first had Attica, I thought it was like some shit like from like Attila, from like barbarian shit.
No, the prison.
And that's even better that you guys are being from upstate.
I'll tell you, I deal with some of the dumbest people in the fucking world.
Like we were saying, a promoter. I don't know how you do it. Oh, you're talking about something else. I was saying being a promoter, you deal with the dumbest. Listen, that's why you could deal with being a promoter? Because you got to deal with this in your other life also.
Whew.
Anyway, listen, it's good. You back. We got you back. And just like that, it was flawless, a flawless transition with the with the. But let me ask you this: where we left off. So, like you said originally, I know you say you started, obviously, like a lot of people, you start booking shows because, you know, there isn't a lot of people around or whatever it be the case. You start booking a couple shows for yourself. Now, when does it become you start booking shows that you're not playing?
Well, I would say right around the Duster era. And the first band that I booked at the Duster that wasn't a local band was Murphy's Law.
Wow, go figure.
It was such a fun time. And, you know, being that I own the bar, I could do cheap tickets. You know, I think I did $5. $5.
Wow.
You know, it's like I did Agnostic Front there for like $5 or something. It was my way of just having fun. It's like here I got the bar backing me up, so I didn't care.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's when I started booking shows that didn't involve my band. Was at that spot.
Okay, and
So
now Attica? Did it trickle? Did it never officially stop? Did it kind of fade away, and then you started booking shows? Or what was the transition to that? Because you went from that promoter, then back to the band, and then you kind of revamped yourself.
Yeah, so Attica faded away in like 1998, and it just the thrash, it just the lineup changes, it just didn't work anymore, and it wasn't fun. And I ended up joining another band that was more of a experimental kind of thing, and it had
What
elements
was it called?
but it had a little bit of swing and rockabilly in it, and it was just
I need to hear this. I would
it
love
was
to hear and
all
see.
over the place. And actually, for Hooligan Holiday, we did a reunion for that show.
What's
and,
the name?
Bruise Brothers.
Oh, I've seen that. I didn't know that was so. You were? Is that an old band? I've heard the name.
Yeah, so we started off that, and you know, Ted never knew where to book us. It's because we had a little bit of elements and everything, so we fit everywhere, and it was more about the attitude anyway. So I think we played with more hardcore bands with that band than I did with the thrash band. So you know, we did some shows, and then that started kind of falling down, and I wasn't the leader of that band. I just played guitar, and the people that were leading that band wanted to make it more radio rock, and I was like, I'm out, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then that's when I had the Duster together, and this is like 2004. I got together with the bass player from Straight Jacket. The drummer was in a band called 357 Justice, and I said, "Listen," I said, "you know, let's do some jamming. Let's bring back some hardcore, and you know, throw a little bit of metal in there." So I told him, I said, "These are the bands that I want to sound like. You know, Agnostic Front, Madball, Sick of It All meets Slayer, Hatebreed, you know, stuff like that. Let's do it." So we started playing there, and then we got the singer in the band, and then we started playing, and then that band. We didn't do anything for like 10 years. I mean, we played some shows, but we never toured. We never did anything because the people in the band had fucked up schedules, and it was just we just never did nothing. And finally, in 2014, 10 years later, we finally got on a tour with Biohazard out in Canada.
Wow.
And I just realized, I'm like, oh God, this singer's such a douche. I'm like, I don't like him. I don't want to tour with him, you know? So I had Ray on the back burner the whole time. He's just like, yo, if you ever need somebody to fill in, let me know. I said, listen, I said, I've been talking to Freddie, and he wants us to do Canada with Madball in September. I said, you down? He goes, yep. I said, all right. Boom.
And I remember that, but hold on, but slow down. Now you skipped a little bit. So
I know. I
no, but all right. So we got that the Attica was always around and faded or whatever, and you're booking shows, right?
Yes.
Because I remember the transition, because I remember we started doing some shows. We were doing a bunch of shows together. And then I remember Ray popping up. I remember almost like to the day, like basically when all that was happening. But okay, now where does Brick by Brick start? From you're promoting. Now you say, okay, let's start this some shit up. What was it that you like? I know you always had that thing in you to play, but now who was it that you linked up with, or what was going on that you said, okay, let me do this shit again. Now let's do it something else, and let's do it this way.
With Brick by Brick, that started when I had the Hudson Duster. So I was doing shows at the Duster. So of course I would book Brick by Brick there, and we would do very well, and it was fun. And it might have been partially my fault, but I think I locked us into local shows more than we did playing out of town. I remember we did a show in New York City with Danny Diablo. Saab was playing guitar, and that we played at the 169 bar, a real small place.
I remember when that was kind of going on. That was a while ago.
But as far as the booking goes, I pretty much stayed at home base and until the Duster ended. And when the Duster ended, I wanted to start picking Brick by Brick up a little bit more, but we couldn't because of the work schedules, et cetera, et cetera. So I started going back into booking again, Bogies thing. And then of course, home base, we would do Brick by Brick there. So we would stay relevant upstate. Yeah. And then when Bogies ended, then we started, that's now we're starting into the early teens, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there.
Yep.
And then still trying to book shows. We ended up, the Fuse Box was still doing some shows once in a while. We ended up finding that Chrome spot. I did some stuff at Upstate Concert Hall. And then 2014 hit, we did that Biohazard run. And then we ended up getting rid of the singer, getting Ray in. And then I was still booking at Chrome and still holding it down with that spot. And then 2020, I was there. Well, I'm sorry. Before Chrome, I booked a place called Trick Shots, which was a billiard hall. Madball played up there as well. And
Trick Shots. I don't even remember that. That sounds fucking. That's a great name, Trick Shots. I like that.
And it was basically that guy used me up for my crowd and for everything to help build the extension on his club. And then when he got it all done, like, yeah, we don't want to do heavy music no more.
That's usually the story.
Yeah, basically. So then I went to Chrome, and then the Chrome we ended up getting into the COVID stuff. The last show we played at Chrome was with you guys for the holiday party,
which I had a blast, which I was glad I made it. I was at that,
and that was like the last show. That was then COVID, and then COVID hit, and then Upstate Concert Hall ended up hitting me up and asked if I wanted to be one of the booking partners there, and I'm like, absolutely. So
I remember I was psyched for you because I saw that shit hit hard for you, where you like everybody, promoters at clubs is like, yo, we got go from starting to get things rolling, and then shit got shot down. And then I was like, man, you were like, yo, finally, I think there's some hope. I think I got something. And the next, I got a club. And then it ain't just like any club. It was like a hooked up, the right club with the right everything. I was like, man, for you it's perfect. What I wanted to say is where the fuck, I don't even know where, but it just bugged me out where I always said, I would tell people, I go, I give it a Valente. I go, because Valente really loves music. You look at him and you think he only likes, he looks like a metal guy, and you would just think he only fucks with that. I go, but little do you know, he really loves all types of heavy music. I go, he really does. But you telling me that you played for a rockabilly-ish, just you saying those words coming out of your mouth, I'm going to get a sample with the car going, and it's for moments like that. You heard that, Gator? That's what we're going to do. But for that reason, to be like, wait, hold on. Not surprised. I'm surprised, but not surprised. Were you always open as a kid to music like that? Because as a kid, I was one-sided. I was hip-hop, like, fuck that. And then, I like metal, but then if it was metal, just Black Sabbath, Slayer. And then when I got into hardcore, it was just New York hardcore, fuck everybody.
I had a real open mind. My father was very eclectic in his music taste. He liked everything from Black Sabbath to Donna Summer. It was
great.
So his, when I was growing up, I was, he showed me how to use his turntable, and he's like, here's how you handle the records and put it on the turntable. So I would just spin his records for hours, everything crazy, the craziest stuff, all funk and Rolling Stones and Sabbath
music, real music
all over the place. And father taught me, he's just like, he goes, this is music. He goes, you might not like it, but somebody else does.
Yeah.
You got to respect that. And I'm like, oh, I get it. And he goes, so don't judge the music on how it sounds, how it makes you feel. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
My father said that, and I was just like,
it took me years
I was 10, 11.
It took me many years of playing to realize that alone, to realize that, like, it's not that, like, I even say that about how I play, my bit playing. I go, I don't want to be heard. I want to be felt.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I want you to feel that shit. I don't care you hear me. I want you to feel that shit. Same thing, like, you may not, like, I get it. Like, I understand. I tell people that about a hardcore and period. I go, come to a hardcore show. I go, even if you hate it, you're going to like it. Or you'll get it. Like, it's too crazy for me, but I get it. Or you'll be like, whoa, this is like a fucking spectacle. Like, you'll appreciate it for what it is. As a kid, I wasn't like that. I was so meathead one way. I just was like that. But, and it had to be the hard shit. If it was hip hop, it was hard. Hardcore, I had to be like, I was always on that bully. Not a bully, but that meathead shit. But I always was influenced by hip hop, freestyle music, and not modern. Like, Sabbath was always in my DNA from day one. So it was always there. But I used to be like, if it ain't Sabbath or Slayer or Celtic Frost, and nobody else matters in metal. That's how I thought. I said everything. Judas Priest, I love. I go, they fall in between. I would say, this is me. So Led Zeppelin, fuck them. They can't hang. All right, Bonham's dope now, but I was like, it's Sabbath. Fucking, to me, it was Sabbath, Bob Marley, Biggie Smalls. You know what I mean? Like, the 3 Bs, But not till I got older, I realized, like, I'm influenced by so much shit. And then I started connecting the dots and being like, I'm talking one shit, but I'm doing something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I started off in metal, and it was like, that's all I was really exposed to. And because of the metal that my father had in his collection, he didn't really have any punk, or he had the Clash. That was pretty much the extent of it, but Chris Lynch from Wolfpack, he was singing for Wolfpack at the time. He was
shout out to Wolfpack.
A couple of years ahead of me in high school, and we became friends in high school because I knew he played drums, and I'm like, yo, let's jam. And I mean, I remember jamming Iron Maiden tunes and stuff that. He's like, oh, you gotta check this band out, Agnostic Front. I'm like, whoa, what's this? Holy Christ, whoa. And then he took me to my first hardcore show. My first hardcore show was COC and DRI.
Wow, that's a fucking classic. Yeah. You ain't never gonna see that, like, anywhere.
No, and that was 1985.
Wow.
FW, and I believe the price was $3.
Wow. And was there a lot of people there?
It was awesome. Yeah.
Great. Man. Like, my first show, I didn't go to show to 88, like way later. My first show was a Rest in Pieces show, which I remember, but that's an 88. And I already thought I was like late to the game. I used to see the old dudes. And I used to see like Stigma and all these dudes walk by. I was like, yo, these dudes are like old men, like grown ass men. I'm like, I'm trying to sneak in the show. These motherfuckers are like, they got tattoos on their neck. I'm like, look at these fucking animals.
Yep. And I mean, New York hardcore came a little late for me. I think it was when Roger got out and they did that Agnostic Front Sick of It All tour. That was my first New York hardcore show, and it was at Saratoga Winters. And it blew my mind. I was like, wow, holy moly. And I growing up, I didn't really have too many friends. I didn't meet Bob Riley until my later years, which is weird because we only lived like,
I was about to ask that. So that you met later, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, if I met him 2 years earlier, I would have been going down to CBGB's with him, but I never knew it existed because I didn't have anybody to really guide me until Chris Lynch came along, and I, 1985 was probably the most exposure I got for music because it was my first hardcore show, and that was the first time I saw Slayer too. And it was the tail end of the Hell Awaits tour.
Oh my God. That's enough said. And you got put on to write hardcore homeboy from Wolfpack. But it ain't like you went to a Bad Brain show. Like that's kind of easy. A big a raw, a Black Flag. They're the top, of course. You know what I mean? You're going with homeboy from Wolfpack. You're going to a real proper hardcore show with a real hardcore dude where you're like, okay, and at that era was when the shit was getting really carved, where my era was getting carved out. Like, again, like I know Roger and all those and the whole punk rock. My shit I'm not that punk rock shit. I came from the hardcore part when the dudes were trying to mix metal and not admitting it yet. You know what I mean? And then I came from that. Nah, fuck the metal guys. They're doing it right. I want to take everything they do, but I got to do it with the DMs on. You know what I mean? Like we got to throw swag, but I go, we got to do it Big Willie like the metal guys. But I would go on for me, I was always more about like when Leeway, 2 guitars, full stacks. When the Cro-Mag second, when they would come out full stacks, I was like, now we got an excuse to come out with full stacks, and people can't say you're metal because back then it was taboo to be a hardcore guy and somebody to label you metal.
And then we had Stigmata break through up here. I mean, at first it was Cranial Abuse, but they were the more hardcore. But once Stigmata came, they pioneered. They just paved the way for the rest. Up here anyway. And like the
what is it? I want to ask you this: what is it about upstate besides heavy lead in the water? But what is it that you think? Look, because I'll take you two guys for example. You and Bob Riley is a perfect example. You guys have a lot of big metal influences and have a lot to do with bringing metal influences into hardcore in your area. But Riley mixed it with like being heavy into really metal. And then when you got into hardcore, you got into the real, like, the hardcore, the every Sunday kind of hardcore. And Bob Riley was also a Oi boy, but yet Stigmata has nothing to do with Oi. You know what I mean? They had like so much heaviness. What is it about upstate that you think that, I don't know, where that these remedies were fucking invented? What is it?
Well, I mean, in New York City, I mean, you had the New York hardcore going on. You're the innovators down there. So up here, we're getting bits and pieces of that up here. Biohazard playing South Troy Community Center. You're getting the beginning stages of the metal crossover from down there, and it totally influenced up here. And these are kids that, I'm speaking for myself, but I could theorize that majority is these other kids were raised on metal as well. So the punk influence up here didn't seem to be as available, I guess you could say, as like maybe the city.
Yeah.
So I mean, New York City's population is tenfold compared to up here. So when you're that metal kid in high school, you stick out up here.
Yeah.
So that's what my theory is, because like the Troycore bands, they really had that tough, gritty metal. It was just a different sound. You could tell they were from Troy.
I remember early on, just upstate in general was always, if it was Wartime Manor, early, like they all All Out War, different places upstate, but that upstate was mixing like metal, but not doing it metal style, like doing it with that, like a punk attitude, not so much sonically, a punk attitude mixing the New York hardcore we grew up with, and then but with the metal execution and shit, and like it always was specific to the Northeast and upstate New York, which is great. It kind of gives you guys your own fucking
our own flavor, you know?
Yeah. And even with Stigmata, that always bugged me out that like Riley, somebody who, well, Riley loves all music, but being
Yeah,
so heavy into Oi or whatever, and then you hear Stigmata, and I used to think like, oh, these guys, this is so crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like this fucking, it makes total sense for Albany, Troy.
yeah.
And fucking, and then you start doing, and then now I remember you get Ray. Now, when Ray was doing it, he was already off. He was done playing, right? When you got Ray to fill in, right?
Yeah, well, he was still doing full blown chaos periodically, and he still gets together and does shows with them. But he always just said, "Hey, if you need a fill in, let me know." And I was like, so he came right up, and he lived in Texas.
I remember, yeah.
He flew up, and we rehearsed once before we went on that Madball run. And you know what? We had a blast, and halfway through, I'm like, "Yo, just be in the band, bro."
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, and then here we are ever
Yeah,
since.
and he's perfect for the band and all in every way. You know, worked out, and and like perfect
it's nice
fit.
to have bandmates that aren't dicks, you know.
Yeah,
It's just,
and he's perfect. He sounds great. He's strong, perfect for the band. He's experienced. He's done it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He got a beard.
You got a beard.
You gotta, and fucking speaking of beards, and then now, what fucking alcoholic beverage are you motherfuckers doing now? That's what I want to know.
Well, actually, we're developing our own whiskey, so we're talking to a distiller. Well, we're not talking. We've already developed the taste. It took us a few days to decide. Me and Andy basically went up there and manipulated the recipes and did everything how we want. So we're coming out. It'll probably be out in the fall. Everything's licensed and ready to go. It's just, we got a bunch of shows coming up, and I just want to get through that stuff before we dive into this. So I'm thinking probably the end of summer, early fall, but it's going to be called The Smooth Truth.
Oh, nice. And let me ask you, is this in connection with Jack Daniels Company like last time, or
it's not
independent?
And it's going to be priced reasonably. The Jack Daniels stuff tended to get a little bit expensive.
Yeah,
and we didn't really have we didn't have our an input at all. It was basically we get to choose which single barrels that we liked best.
Got you. Limited, very limited on what you could.
Very limited. So, and we got Madball to do one, we got Agnostic Front, and now we got Sheer Terror, Murphy's Law, and Sick of It All. So, and then that's it. I'm retiring from doing those because it's a lot of work.
I'm retired. I hear you. They came out great, man. I loved them all. Like, I don't drink, and I'm like, I wanted them. I was getting them for people. The artwork, the boxes look great. The AF one's sick. All of them.
Yeah, and I just did that because COVID was rampant, and it was here I am. These are my friends that their living got taken away from them. So I'm like, well, you know what? We did our own just simply because I was a pain in the ass to Jack Daniels, and they're just like, all right, let's do a single barrel for you. I said, all right.
Yeah.
And it was very profitable, and I'm like, you know what? I said, let me get my friends in on this, help them out. But and all I got to say is when I sent that to Roger, it was perfect timing because he was just getting hammered with bills from the cancer stuff.
Yeah.
So glad that came through, and it's just like I said, I love for music. It just extends to my friends and family, and all I want to do is help. I just
and you do, and that's what I said. I always said that about you. I said people don't know that because they see your big gorilla. Fucking this big fucking Wendigo walking through the fucking venues, and people just may assume, or they might have seen you throwing somebody out of a venue or something, or like, but they don't know. I know. We've always talked about it. A lot of people we're like, no, this motherfucker really loves music, and not just the big bands, like from the young bands to a hardcore band to a punk band to the metal band. Like, you're in it. Like you like your game, which I love because I love music too. I still get excited for music. So when I see people that still love it, because we're not making millions off of it, but we also want to do it as good as we could do it, and as or better than other people. We want to, like, that's what I try to do. If it's with the podcast, or like what I love what my friends do. We don't need a big corporation. Yeah, the billions of dollars behind them helps to make things happen, but we can make shit look slick and quality without that. We're just, because we know what we want to see, and we don't got to reach out to the people and ask for opinions, because we are the people. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about what we're doing in general. If it's like you're promoting, you're in a band, you do the bottles, you do the liquor, you're doing, that's a lot. A lot of people love singing these songs about, let's put the unity, let's put the picture of me pointing in the air, my brothers, sisters, they love these words, but they don't do shit for nobody. You know what I mean? Like, my whole shit is like, I see everything. You know what I mean? And we don't got to play Gandhi in this shit, but I do love, put it like this, I see the rappers say it in the best way. For once, they say something good in the right way. He goes, like Noriega says on his podcast, I like giving people their roses when they can still smell them. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna wait till people die to start telling people how, the good job they did.
Exactly.
And I just saying that you did a good job, but I know you love it and what you do, especially, thank God for Albany. To be honest with you, that'll be one of the spots, probably Mad Boss, since this shit opened up, will be that we played the most.
Yep.
Since coming back. I could almost say that it'll be like New York and Albany probably next, like to be, or right now, as of now, because, one, you, and thank God for you, also for all these other bands. That's what I'm saying. There's a pit stop in between, that used to be there back in the day, and now it's back.
Yeah, it's a perfect 3-hour stop from Boston, New York City, to Canada, to Buffalo, so it's a good routing spot,
Yeah, and it's where it should be. Like, it would go up and down, but I'm glad it's on the up too. And so you're doing the whiskey, and the whiskey's gonna come out in the end of the year. You're saying, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Yep.
And what's the deal with shows? What's the next show for you guys? What are you doing?
For Brick by Brick, we're doing the Chance June 11th, and we got a couple of shows peppered throughout, and then we're doing a tour starting July 8th with Cutthroat from LA.
Oh, so that's dope. Shout out to Cutthroat, guys. Yeah, good shit.
With the East Coast run, we're hitting Tampa and Jacksonville in Florida. That's all we're hitting.
When are you doing that?
July 8th is Albany. July 9th is Fredericks, Virginia. 10th is
July-ish something, basically.
Well, it's like it's I think the 13th we're in Jacksonville, so I think the 12th, either the 12th or 13th, we're in Tampa.
Because you want to know what? I might roll up to one of those.
I'll definitely let you know.
No, keep me posted for sure, because I'm basically home. I'm doing This Is Hardcore. That's the next thing we're doing, but that's it as of now. That I know, but I'll roll up there because I want to record, get you guys, and just, it gives me a reason to hang out, but also to fucking, get some footage. I'm about to drop some shit, Valente. I'm about to take YouTube and the fucking interweb hostage. Like I said, I watch and I learn. The metal guy, again, when I always bring up the metal guys, and I love metal, and it ain't to hate. I also look at them like, they got their metal gods and their metal god awards, and that's dope. Our world needs those. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I say it, and this is my campaign. I won't stop till Stigma is in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is specifically him, and but our genre is, we can still trace the history to it. And the history is getting written every day by Stigma and Roger and Gestapo and the Blood Clot. Like, every time they play a show, it shows you how much longer you could do this hardcore shit.
It's crazy. Stigma's pushing 70, and he's
killing it. I swear to God, you give me fucking chills. The old man never gave me more chills than ever in his life. I swear I do. I'm Stigma. I get Stigma's face tattooed on my face.
Yo,
That's how much I fucking love him. And I thank, forget it,
how
I
about
get goose
that
pimples.
how about that Madball tattoo he got?
Of course, he is Madball. Like, that's fucking Madball. Like, I forget anything I did, Freddie did. That's Madball right there. He's the heart of that shit. That's just a fact. I'll tell you that, whatever, because hands down, I wouldn't have written one note if it wasn't for seeing that motherfucker when I was a little kid. That's just a fact.
I know.
You know, to do it like him, and to be like, to look as natural as him, and to be in the trenches like him. That was the motherfucker when we were 15 years old, coming, smoking a joint, drinking a beer with us. Not looking at you saying something. Look, who the fuck are these little kids?
Yep.
You know. You know what I mean? And again, guys that still giving it, guys like you that are helping build this shit. You know, I got I found a new love for people that still got love for this shit. You know what I mean? So it's good. And so you got a couple shows. What's the next show you're promoting then? What's popping?
I got next Sunday, which is June 5th. I got Pyrexia, so I got a good death.
Oh, Pyrexia, they class. I was just talking about them.
Yep, so I got them coming through Empire Underground. My next hardcore, there's so much.
Good.
Everything from I got hoods coming. I got
wow. Where could everybody find out? Is there a website or the Instagram where they can find out for the venue specific, or your website? So because
EmpireLive.com.
That's where you go. All the shows are on there and whatever. Nah, man, I'm amped. And I just saw, and I recently just saw, I kind of heard. I usually find out about my shows online through other people. And I saw that we'll be playing fucking up there. Fucking.
I got you in August.
You know, we got to keep the tradition alive. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I won't be there. We're playing with Internal Bleeding that day in Baltimore. I know.
Nah, fuck that. I'm not going. All right. But you know what I got to say? Hold on. I don't remember where, but I ate some good pizza up there the last time I was up there. I got to remember the name. They took me to eat some good pizza. I'm going to find out the name. It was a little mom and pop spot. And I remember when they took me, I was like, this shit looks like whatever. And I was blown away. I'm going to find out the name. I'm going to hit up my man. You banging. Right. But I got to say, you guys have some good pizza up there.
Yes, they do. They do.
And so you're working now. So the next thing is just chilling, waiting to see what's what, making new liquor. All the liquor is gone, right? All your mead, all your whiskeys, all that shit is gone.
Our mead is actually a staple for that meadery. So it's mass produced. So we get like a royalty for everyone that's sold, but it's available, and that's at Helderberg Mead Works. You can find it online anywhere. And then this liquor is going to also be a staple for this distillery up here too. So that, and we're going to, the price point is going to probably be around $40. So that's, it's going to be, and I'm telling you, it's nasty. It's good. It's so smooth. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's dope. What I'm hoping to do is, like I said, I'm planning to take my YouTube channel to the next level. I'm gonna pay a visit up there, and then we're gonna do a little tasting of your new whiskey when we up there, and then we can fucking let people know what time it is with the new whiskey. And you know what I mean? We can let people join us on the ride, and when you drop it, and we do a whole little thing on it, you know what I mean?
I learned how to properly taste whiskey at the Jack Daniel's distillery.
Oh yeah, you go. Yeah. I know the same. I do the same. I go like this. Listen, Valente, I'm glad. I know you came out of work. I'm glad you were able to make it. Fuck it. I'm glad you were able to catch up. Next time I want to get you with some of the other guys, with you and Ray, and then fucking, the next time you're in, and we could talk some more shit. But I'm glad you're doing what you do. I'm glad to see you. I haven't seen you. I miss you. And tell all the fellas what's up. Keep doing what you do, Valente. Everybody, make sure you go support. brick by brick. Go to all the clubs, the venues. One more time, where they can find the shows at?
EmpireLive.com.
EmpireLive.com. Yo, Valente, I love you. One love. This will be out next week. All right.
Love you, bro.
I'll send you love you, bro. One, and we out.
Definitely. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.